battleground. All the polls have the Conservatives ahead, but they can't agree by how much. Many believe that reflects the uncertainty among large numbers of voters right now. And the peculiarities of the system mean the Tories could get more votes but fewer seats than Labour. Krishnan Gurumurthy has been looking at where the parties stand and the scale of the task facing David Cameron.
Let's start with how the main parties did at the last election in 2005. Tony Blair took Labour to that historic third victory, winning 356 seats, compared to 198 for the Conservatives, 62 for the Liberal Democrats. 30 seats went to the others, like the Nationalists in Scotland and Wales and the Northern Ireland parties, giving Labour a majority of 66. Now, it might be easier to look at them like this. Pile them up, and that's how it is. However, since then, the electoral map has been redrawn, and the boundary changes mean that the starting point for this election now looks like this. Labour has a notional overall majority of a bit less, 48 seats. So the task for David Cameron is to achieve a big enough swing from Labour to the Conservatives. Now, put simply, swing is the average of the share of votes the Tories gain and the share Labour loses. So, for example, if 4 people in every 100 who voted Labour in 2005 switched to the Conservatives, that's a swing of 4%. Of course, this isn't a two-party contest, so let's start the swingometer back where it was in 2005, with the other parties included on it too. Now, if voters switch to the Conservatives, so seats begin to change hands. A 1.6% swing will cost Labour its majority in the Commons. But for the Conservatives to just become the largest party, they'll need a swing of more than 4%. They'll have to gain 72 seats. And even then, we'd have a hung parliament with no party winning an overall majority. To get across that barrier, the Conservatives would need to win a total of 326 of the 650 seats in Parliament. That's a net gain of 116, a swing from Labour of 6.9%. Now, that's only ever been exceeded once in a general election by Labour in the 1997 landslide. To get a workable majority of 20 or more over everyone else, they'll need to gain at least 125 seats. That's a swing from Labour of 7.6%. So there is a mountain to climb. Now, in 2005, Labour got 36% of the national vote, compared to 33% for the Conservatives. To get that workable majority of 20 seats, the Conservatives now need to get more than 40% and cut Labour down to 28. That's a much bigger lead than current opinion polls predict. In fact, 2 published today produce rather different figures, but each show the way the system works against the Tories. The ICM poll in The Guardian put the Conservatives 4 points ahead of Labour, a result which could still deliver Gordon Brown the most seats in Parliament, with the Lib Dems holding the balance of power. And if you're wondering why, it's partly because many Conservative victories will be in rural constituencies, which are very big, with lots of voters, and tend to have bigger turnouts as well, but still only carry 1 MP. The Sun's YouGov poll, however, put the Tories way out in front, with 41% compared to Labour's 31%. But even this, if reflected evenly across the country, would have David Cameron 7 seats short of a majority, still needing other people's support to govern. However, there is another factor that could change the electoral maths. The Tories have been targeting their campaign on a number of key marginal seats. If they can get more voters to switch in those than the national average, it could give them enough MPs to get them past the winning post and easily into government.
Krishnan, we'll be live blogging throughout the election campaign, tweeting too on our website at Channel 4.